Hi, this is Vipin. Welcome to another episode on reverse charge mechanism. Learning reverse charge mechanism won't take much time as it is the reverse of forward charge mechanism which we have discussed in the previous slide, but requires little more attention in understanding the concepts. However, the number of items in reverse charge mechanism are quite less, and let's jump into the details. So, what is the meaning of reverse charge mechanism? Normally, GST is payable by taxable person who supplies goods and services. So, taxable person means a person who is registered or liable to be registered under GST Act. However, in some cases, GST is payable by person who is the recipient of goods or services. So, this is the key point here. So we'll be having a confusion. I'll try to clear that in the following slides. This is termed as reverse charge mechanism. So anyway, we are paying GST when a bill arises, isn't it? So I'll explain that concept in the future slides. So the section which governs are section 9 subsection 3 in CGST Act and section 5 subsection 3 in IGST Acts. These are two charging sections which discusses about reverse charge. And there will be slight confusion in what payment means. Okay, slowly we will get into the details. So the main concept is first event. We'll go by event after event. One is supply of goods or services. Let us say, for example, Mr. A supplies goods or services to XYZ company, and the recipient avails these services or receives goods. Then the third event being XYZ company pays consideration to Mr. A. So here only the value of goods or services, there is no GST involved. Let us say the invoice is at 100 rupees. There won't be any GST involved in this transaction, and he pays 100 rupees to A, Mr. A. There won't be any GST in the bill. There won't be any GST charged by Mr. A to XYZ company. However, here is the difference. At the end of each month, XYZ company will prepare a consolidated monthly self-invoice. One consolidated invoice is accepted in GST Act. So he prepares a consolidated invoice of all such transactions. There are some specific transactions listed, which we will see later. But he prepares list of such invoices. He'll invoice it in his name, and he pays the GST for these type of transaction. So now let us say 100 and 5% tax applies. 5 rupees is the liability. Similarly, entire month there will be some specified transactions where he keeps aggregating like this, 5 and 20. That way he keeps aggregating, and at the end of the month he will be paying that sum to the government. So this is where I told you reverse charge mechanism. That is, the recipient pays tax to the government instead of the supplier. In earlier forward charge mechanism, supplier charges tax to the customer, collects the tax and pays the tax to the government. Here the recipient pays the tax to the government directly. So the fifth event being paying of GST and such transactions. So the filing of returns, everything, he will include this reverse charge taxes and he will pay back to the government. So here one point to be noted is RCM can be paid only in cash. Even if you have ITC credits, sufficient ITC credits, even crores of ITC credits you have in your credit ledger, but still you have to pay only in cash. So there are two type of thing under RCM. One is goods and services, as Goods and Services Act is essentially meant for. And so the following are the only category under goods. Only this much is notified at present. One is cashew nuts, silk yarn, lottery, and used vehicle, seized vehicle, scrap, and priority sector lending certificates. So used vehicle, seized vehicle, scrap by government is mainly is like a government maybe at impounding center or somewhere, and it happens very rarely. These are all mainly, if you see, agricultural produce. So when an agricultural a farmer sells these goods to the company, so the company is liable to pay tax on these category. Now we'll see services. I have broadly listed the main 8 points. There are few more, but generally they are not dealt in day-to-day life. So you can see one is goods transport agency, one is legal services, that is services of advocate. Let us say advocate, you are engaging an advocate, and advocate gives a bill to the company, so he will not charge any GST on that. So the company has to pay GST directly to the government. Services by arbitral tribunal, any sponsorship services, motor vehicle hire services. This is very important, as most companies and people engage these type of this one, that is taxi. So there you can see some taxi services like Ola, Uber will be charging 18% or 5% or 12% on their services. So I'm not talking about those taxi services. These are all services rendered by some partners who have taxi on their own, and they give bill to the company. So the taxi for passenger hire, that is passenger services, the bill will be paid by the company, and the tax on such taxi services has to be borne by the company, and there is no input tax credit even. Anyway, that detailed analysis we will go through later, and at present you can focus on these four or 8 items which are mostly repeating in every examination or in our day-to-day lives also. Services of a director of a company. So director renders any services to the company, the tax has to be borne by the company, and they pay tax directly to the government. And recovery agent services to a bank or NBFC. So bank or NBFC pays the tax directly to the government. Renting of immovable property is another criteria. So these are all mainly about important 8 items I have listed. There are few more, about 4 or 5 more, but generally we don't see like selling agents and some clearing and forwarding services and all. So whether ITC is available, so except cases where I had mentioned that we'll cover in future deep dive sessions, it is generally available, yes, but when the payment is made, only when the payment is made, ITC is available. So there are debates whether simultaneous credits can be taken, like immediately they'll be paying the liability in this return, and side by side inputs can be taken, but that is quite risky, and the taxman will always take a contrary view. So the conservative method is to take credit in the next month, like this month you pay the taxes, next month you can take the input. So this will be a better approach, and you will not lose out, as the per se the volume of RCM credits are quite less when compared to the normal forward charge credits. So I would like to conclude the session here, and much more detailed version we will be covering in the future classes, and alongside with important case laws and recent amendments and all. Do comment and tell me more topics which I were to cover in this regard. Thank you.